Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the invite, Marquita. Correct. Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity. So, like mentioned before, I'm a speaker. I'm all kinds of stuff. Author, a leadership trainer. Some of the most important things, though, I am a husband, a father. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm all of those things that I think are more important than some of the accolades and some of the things I may have accomplished. So what I want to do is just spend a little bit of time with you today. And you see the theme. We're just going to have a conversation. We're going to have a conversation today. And what I want to do is share and say some of the things that maybe people around you probably don't want to say and maybe don't feel comfortable saying. And so maybe a little uncomfortable, but we're going to have fun. All right? Because I feel like I can be transparent with you. I feel like I'm around friends. Yeah, it feels good, like the classroom setting. I'm a former educator. I used to teach high school, and so let me just talk about what got me into what I do. I do have a nonprofit. I do work with young boys. So I have over 15 years, over a decade of experience in industry where I train leaders on how to get the outcomes and the results that the company needs to be successful. And while I was there, I managed people at one point, and what disturbed me is that I would see individuals come into the company, and we were paying maybe at the time $20 an hour for just a high school diploma. But I would see people come into the company, and they could get in there, but the peculiar thing is that they couldn't stay there, right? They didn't have the skills that they needed. They couldn't work in a team. They didn't know how to show up on time. They didn't know how to communicate. And they would lose good paying jobs because they didn't have the soft skills. So I said, what if I could get into some of these schools and touch these lives earlier to teach some of these soft skills before they get there? Because soft skills are not easy. Soft skills are not soft. Soft skills are hard. Oh, y'all don't agree? Yeah. Have you worked with some people who need a little bit of touch up on some soft skills? You're in a safe place. I'm not going to tell. So that's what I do. And particularly with young men, and it's a beautiful thing. I was just over here yesterday. I was at Berea Middle School on yesterday, because I do some work with On Track as well, Greenville. And as I was in there talking about HBCUs, it was interesting talking to some of the children and some of the things that they go through. And I'm going to touch on some of that today. And so I hope you guys go on the journey with me. So let me give you a disclaimer. I'm very energetic. I'm going to move. I'm loud. I was blessed with a loud voice. So I use it. That's just who I am. So you're going to get me. Is that okay? Can you get me? Beautiful. Thank you. That's why I feel safe in here. All right, cool. All right, so let's start. Uh-oh. Come on, clicker. All right, so what I do, I feel like I'm a bridge builder. I'm a bridge gapper. There may be some places of maybe understanding, and this is what I do. I go into places and I help maybe connect some dots that may not have been there before. And so I take pride in that. I love it, especially when it comes to understanding. And so we're going to talk about that today. And one of the things, if you look at this picture, what do you see? Diversity. Different cultures. Why is diversity important? Leadership, teamwork. What else? Different viewpoints. Beautiful. What else?
Brings about a blended family that we can all share different ideals and the way that we do things.
I love ideas. What else?
Different
Skills. Personalities.
Cultures.
Right? Experiences. Right? Many companies say that this is what, if you're going to be successful, this is what you need to have. Right? Not one way of thinking. Not one way of doing things. Not one way. So this is needed. Now, let me tell you, can I tell you what I love about what I do?
Yes, tell us what you love to do.
What I love to do, I love people. I love them. I mean, I love being around people, different people, all shades of colors and sizes and thoughts and ideas. I love people. I do. It brings me joy. Can I tell you what's the difficult thing about what I do? It's people. Man, they got issues. You know what I'm saying? You ever been around people who got issues? Yes. We all got them. But I'm just saying, like, I love people, but some days I'm like, people. But it's what makes the world go round. You can't do anything without people. Why do we do what we do? We love people. We want to serve people. And really, if you're going to fulfill your purpose here on earth, it's going to be through people. And so one of the things, though, like I said, bridging gaps, is hard to serve someone that you don't quite understand.
Come on, say it.
I'm just saying, how can I serve you if I don't understand you? Or if I don't take the steps to try to understand? There's a quote, and I'm going to get to this. I'm going to come back to that beautiful lady. So this is a quote from Adam Grant. He's a thought provoker. He's a leader. It says, it's hard to keep an open mind if you don't have an open heart. You don't have to agree with what people think to learn from how they think. You don't have to share that identity to be curious about what shaped it. Think about that. Think about it. I think that is very profound. That I don't have to agree with the way you to think about, why do you think like that? What shaped that thinking? I don't have to have a whole lot of share your identity to be curious about what shaped your identity. So that leads me into this beautiful young woman right here. I never shared this story with anyone. I'm going to share it with you. This is my mother. My mother is in her late 70s. And I love all the Black history things you guys did, the trivia. But I didn't know I had Black history in my own home. We always look outside and we never look on the inside to see the beauty that's right around us. My mother, who grew up in Kansas, was one of the first to integrate her school. And it sounds great. That's wonderful. She didn't have a wonderful story to tell me. Not only that, it was hard for her to tell me the story. She said, you just took me back to a place. She said, I can remember walking into school with colleagues that didn't look like me, and they were afraid to hold my hand because they thought the black would rub off on them. On going to lunch and having to sit by yourself because no one wanted to be around you. And because of the shape of your body, people looking at you thinking that you had a tail because your backside had a little size to it. And as she talked, I could hear the brokenness in her voice. She didn't finish high school. She dropped out in the 10th grade because she got pregnant. Now, mind you, we're talking about integration. This is in our lifetime. So fast forward, she has 5 boys and a girl. I'm the youngest, and so when I come along with challenges. I was born with a rare condition that I can't turn my hands over. This is how far they can go. And that was a challenge because she was wondering, what can I do to help my baby boy be successful? But as I look back over my life and how I was raised, I realized that some of my raising came through trauma. I was raised through trauma. So what do you think that looks like? A young man that's birthed into the world that she wants to make sure that I'm trying to prepare him to go further than I did. She didn't finish the 10th grade. But how do I prepare him for a world that I know is cruel? That I know is tough? That if I don't prepare him now, he's going to get devoured. I got to teach him how to survive. I get passionate about this. Because someone who didn't finish the 10th grade was able to push someone to go into higher education. How could she get me to go somewhere she'd never been? She never stepped foot in a higher education, in the halls of a university. Nor to prepare a young man that when I graduated, so again, I was raised in trauma, but every step of my life, I was just around my people. Elementary school, my people. Middle school, all look like me. High school, all me. I even went to a HBCU, all me. To graduate from there and join a corporate company, and it's only me. I just went around, everybody looked like me, and now I'm sitting in the boardroom, a young black man surrounded by nothing but Caucasian males. And all I could think back is to what my mom used to tell me and what my father used to tell me. That when I used to get in trouble or go through something, they said, don't cry. I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Do you remember that phrase? Yeah. Oh, it wasn't just me, that's universal. My goodness, I knew I was in the same place. You heard the same things I did. But what did that tell us? Why couldn't I cry because I disappointed you? Why do I have to be hit to feel emotion? I was being taught how to suppress what I was really feeling. Because when I was in that boardroom, I was scared. Because no one looked like me. And all I heard growing up was that you got to be 10 times better than everyone else. You got to work harder. You got to do, and I'm in this room and I'm trying to figure out how can I do that? What does that look like? I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what's going on. It's a good paying job. I'm making more than what my parents are making. And I realized, and I'm going to throw this nugget out there, it's one thing to invite me. It's another thing to make me feel welcome.
Come on now. Come on now. You're preaching.
Because I'm sorry, I do have background in ministry too. I can't help it, it's in me. It comes out sometimes, I hope you can feel it. But what is the point of you inviting me if you won't take the steps to make me feel welcome? It's like you're telling me to come to my house and I don't do anything you've never been there before. I don't prepare anything for you. You won't feel welcome, nor do you want to stay. And so diversity in a lot of senses, it was just fulfilling a number. Make sure you got this many women, this many people of color, this many, and God forbid you get a black woman, because then you kill two birds with one stone. See, I can say the things, because I'm going home after this. But I want to get this in I'm bridging understandings. Okay? And so it's the welcoming. And so I realized I was birthed in trauma. I was raised in trauma. And it was how I saw the world. I saw the world through trauma. And if I was raised in that, more than likely I would probably go somewhere and cause some trauma. So I want you to think about the people we serve. What did we see them when they get here, but what did they have to go through to get here? And so we see them where they're at, but we never talk about or think about what did it take for them to get here. It's the understanding piece. Some of them went through the same thing I did, because weakness is often seen when you ask for help. That it's a weak thing to ask for help. That's why people that look like me don't like therapy. Why do we not like therapy? You just told me something's wrong with me. And if I'm a parent, you just told me my child has something wrong with them. And I was taught to be strong. And you just showed me that I have a weakness. And how am I going to show my weakness to you? Especially if you don't look like me. I'm trying to figure out if you're here to help me or not. I'm hoping you see me. My mom told me a story. She said that as she used to walk in the community and walk down the sidewalk, if a certain ethnicity was coming her way, she had to step off the sidewalk, let them pass, and then she could step back on. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to give you some perspective. That's how I was raised. And so now for her to see me now, she has a heart, she's proud. She's like, wow, she never thought she would see this. It happened in her lifetime. We're not that far removed. I'm just trying to help us serve better the people we have. The ones who God brought our way, how do we serve them better? Not only that, how do we serve ourselves better and the people around us? We say that we need diversity, but then how do we live in this space together? when one person may be scared to say something because it might offend this one, or I'm scared to say this because you might look at it as weakness. I'm just here to start the conversation. So my mother. And so conversations, I love this. Bias versus non-bias, because here's the thing. We all have biases. I had to catch myself the other day. I was in the store, and when I seen someone walk by, I had to catch myself because I tried to picture in my mind everywhere they came from. I know what they're like. I know what their home looks like. I know that, and I don't. I was being biased. And here's the thing, our conversations are biased. Why our conversations are biased? Who do you have conversations with? People who think like you. Yeah. People who look like you. You're having conversations with yourself. How many of us have a non-biased conversation? How many of us go to someone who don't look like me or think like me and talk? How often does that happen? I love this quote. Every person takes the limits of their own field of vision for the limits of the world. Think about that. We think the way we think is how everybody thinks. That's an assumption. That's not reality. I don't think like you. You don't think like me. I didn't experience what you experienced. You haven't experienced what I experienced. And so it's on all sides because, again, when I say through trauma, that although I'm not saying that, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. I even have to talk to myself because I came through trauma that I see everything as a traumatic experience. And it's not. Because I sure know how to blow some things out of proportion. Oh, I can go from 0 to 100 quick. I'm better than a Porsche or a Ferrari. I can hit that gas and I'm out. Pew! And then when I hit, I'm trying to figure out, whoa, how did I get here? Because I got here fast, and it's hard to backpedal. My mom used to say, it's hard to unring a bell. Because Lord have mercy, I'm like, I'm ready to boil over. And as soon as you say something, I'm gone. And then I had to stop and say, oh, that wasn't, I was wrong. I was wrong with what, and then have the courage to go back and tell them I was wrong. Yeah. And so it's on both sides. Maybe the one who went through the trauma, and also the one that's dealing with the person who went through the trauma. Oh, I love this quote. I use this in leadership trainings. We judge others on their behavior. We judge ourselves on our intentions. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. That wasn't what I meant by that. But then we look at other people's behavior and we'll take it to the 10th degree. I don't care about your intentions. This is what you did. And sometimes you got to show people the same grace you give to yourself. We can show ourselves some grace. Because that's not what I meant to say. I didn't mean to make you feel like that. But I never take responsibility for my behavior. As we cohabitate and as we serve, we have to think, what is my behavior saying? I may not have intended that, but I got to check my behavior. Seek the things that make us learn and not the things that make us comfortable. As you look across this room, I can't believe you did. I cannot believe you just did that. You know what I mean? I can't believe that. No, but this is a good time to tell the story. So I started out my career as a teacher. I taught high school math as a 21, 22-year-old. I don't know why I did that. My goodness, people. My teenage people, right? So I'm teaching math, and I had a student in my class. It was in the area where I grew up, and she seemed like she always wanted to talk. Not about the lesson, about everything else. During coursework time, I'm like, no, you can't do that. I automatically assumed that she didn't care about school. I thought she hated math. I thought she's just here to socialize. She's trying to disrespect me. Until one day she came by my room and we had a conversation. And she told me how she has to live with her grandparents. And how when she comes to school, that's like the first time she gets a good meal. And be around people. And I looked at her different. And from that conversation, from that moment on, she was a different student. And I'm like, wow. So that's one instance, just the conversation changed. I had an employee that worked for me that was terrible. He was terrible, always made mistakes. I mean, always just wanted to just speak his mind when it wasn't time. And I thought he was just being difficult. Until finally one day I said, listen, come here, sit down, let's talk. And he told me that after 50-something years of marriage, his parents were getting a divorce. His sister that he was the closest to is dying of cancer. And he feels like he's going crazy. We talked it out. After that day, he was my best employee. The business results changed because of it. Our relationships changed because of it. It was one conversation. And as the leader, who was responsible for that conversation? Do I have to expect for him to come and seek me out because I'm the leader? Or was it good of me as a leader to find out something's going on with my people and I need to go talk to him? I used an assumption. I thought he just didn't care. I thought he wanted to give me a hard time. He was dealing with some issues. And I assumed I was biased toward what he had going on. I made up a whole story in my mind until we talked and have a conversation. There may be some results of this organization and relationships that you're just a conversation away. Yes.
With these two instances, was it like a combination of behaviors changed on both sides, or was it like mindset change?
Both. Because I don't think your behavior can really change without your mind changing. I think your mind goes before, and so this is all this is. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I'm trying to help shift your perspective and your approach. That's all. That if I can help change your mind and your perspective, it might change some behaviors too. And it did, definitely for me, it was a mindset shift. I approach things differently now. Even with my children at home, I approach things differently. I had to ask, this is my sidekick. This is my son. Hey, say hey. So I grew up in an era where we really didn't talk to the kids. You go, it's grown folks talking, you go and you sit. I didn't learn that until I finally had to sit down and ask them, how's your day? And not just a closed-ended question. I don't need a yes or no or a good or bad. I need some details. Okay, give me more. Okay, well, how did that make you feel? So I'm trying to teach him from a conversation that I may be able to get to the bottom of some things, right? Because this helps shifting me too. Yes?
The young girl.
Yeah.
After you had the conversation with her, you said she was a different student. Well, was she a different student because you had a paradigm shift?
I love that. I love that. She may not have changed. It probably all me. Yeah. But I think though there was a connection. Because it's a lot of things you can do and you can't do without connection. If I can't connect with you, I'm sorry. Why do we buy the things we buy? If you think as consumers, it's because we feel a connection. I connect with this product, I connect with this person, I connect with the feeling. That's why I do it. Even if I go to Chick-fil-A and I have one bad experience, because I got a connection with them. I do. I don't know. We got a tight relationship. I don't know what they did. But we tight. So if you mess up one time, it's okay. I forgive you. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't connect with me. Well, one thing for me, they ice cream machine always worked. You know what I'm saying? So, right, I go to McDonald's. I might get a milkshake. I might not. Right? They speak to me. I go to them because I teach this to the kids, right? Because you do things really for the experience. Yeah, they got chicken sandwiches, that's cool. But I go there for the experience. It's fast. You're gonna tell me have a blessed day. You're gonna give me 10 sauces. You know what I'm saying? I get endless Polynesian sauce when I go in Chick-fil-A. And you don't question me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you gonna give me all those? You gonna put that in the bag? And you're not gonna even ask? Well, bless you. If they mess up my order, I say, you didn't give me that. Oh, here's a chicken sandwich. Oh, here's a gift card. Wow, really? And so I come back for the experience. How many of our children want to come back because of the, how do we serve them? What is their experience? Do you make them want to come back? Or do they dread coming back? I worked for a company as a teenager, but they had this slogan that touched my heart. It says, creating memories worth repeating. It was like a recreation, amusement park. And so what we wanted to do is create an atmosphere that a parent would want to bring their children back time and time again. But in this service industry that we got, even in the nonprofit space, are we creating memories worth repeating? Or are we creating memories worth forgetting?
Same with staff, too. Are we helping staff?
Absolutely. Because if you can't help each other, you can't help nobody else. Believe me, they're going to feel it when they walk in the room. My children know when me and mom ain't jiving. They know it. Me and mom supposed to be on the same team. They come in the house and they feel like, ooh. I'm going to my room. I'm not messing with that. And so even as a staff, if you guys are not, and I'm not going to say you're always going to agree, but if you can't come to some common ground of understanding, everyone who walks through that door is going to feel it. Do you know what I felt when I came in? I see y'all having fun and laughing and doing all that. I know that's not every day. I get it. I know it's special. I get it. I know it's not every day. But I felt welcome when I came in. They're laughing. They're having a good time. I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm about to go up here and tear it up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to run through a wall. I'm saying. And so you just have to be mindful of the impact you have on each other. Because when you get this right, everything else that happens will fall in place. My mom's always tell me, if you take care of the front end, the back end will take care of itself. She didn't finish 10th grade, but she sure had a lot of wise sayings. Yeah, wisdom, right? This is the front end. You take care of this front end, that back end is going to take care of itself. The parents will feel it. The children will feel it. You'll feel more fulfilled in what you do. Because I want to help encourage those who feel like you're done and you out of energy and you can't do this anymore. No. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to give up. I don't know why I felt that. Some of you are thinking you're burnt out. This is not the time to give up. What we're doing is too important. Who we serve needs you. You are changing lives. That this might be a cycle that is happening year and year, generation after generation, and one word, one interaction can change the whole paradigm of a family. You can shift the whole family. Think about what you're doing. You're not just servicing one kid, there's a generation in that kid. And what you're doing is admirable work. See it as such. It's your why. You're changing. If you can't feel like you're changing the world, you're changing one person's world. And that world is connected to so many others. Take pride in what you do. Love on each other. Your love can't help but spill out on other people. And I know we don't all think the same. We don't all do the same. Some people have done some things in here that you don't feel like. I've been around for a long time, man. I know how these things work. On this day, everybody is good and we feel good. And then after the day, it goes right back to, on Monday, you be right back to in that same stinking mood you was in before you came here. I'm trying to help with understanding and change approach. I know a lot of this wasn't even scripted, but I felt it in the room. And I pray after the day, go ahead and enjoy yourself this weekend. Come Monday, it's time to change the world. It's time to change the world. we all have that responsibility. Man, I thank y'all for your time. I'm done. Yeah, but bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
I really enjoyed him sharing his thoughts with us, and I'm so ready for Monday so I can change these children's lives. Anything different?
So I really enjoyed the speech. I really connected when he said people that look like me do not believe in therapy because it's not like coming up in a household. I was never allowed to kind of express my emotions. So this is why I actually got this t-shirt on that says go to therapy, because it's a message to people like me, like it's okay to go talk about your feelings. It's okay to ask for help. Because it takes a lot of weight off of you, and it motivates you to, like he said, change lives, change minds, and that's it.
My name is Tanya Communis. I'm the CEO at a Child's Haven, and we had the great pleasure to have Mr. Easterwood come. I was going to say Pastor Easterwood because he just preached to us basically. It was wonderful, and it was all about trauma and how it impacts everything in someone's life, mind, body, spiritually, and it aligns with our mission perfectly. And it kind of really brought us together as a whole team. There's more than 50 of us, very diverse, and so he was our diversity speaker, and I could not say more about him. He was excellent, and I hope that he comes back. Love that he's local, and would definitely recommend him to any organization if they're interested in having a moving speaker to come in to talk about diversity and the importance of trauma, and also the importance of resilience and what can be done about it. So it's great. Thanks.